Hello and welcome to the World Series of Free Enterprise. This is the third qualifier race for the Edward Percent event. As you can see, we've got our Spoony Bards all getting ready to go. And my name is Rex Raoul. I'm here with Paranoia. Paranoia, how are you doing today?
I'm doing just fine. I woke up nice and early for this, so...
Yeah, well, that's better than sleeping too late for this, so looking forward to a good race. We've got 4 runners on our restream today: Woobear, EI Kopfer, Error, and Zyrak. There's a bunch more racers who are running today, but these are the 4 that we're going to be taking a closer look at. They're going to try to join the ranks of Penguinator, Kirchen, Chokosur, and Scratch Dragon, who have already qualified for the final table, but there are definitely spots still open.
What's your angling for today?
Well, I know our runners are going to be hoping to find a spoon for that added punch that Edward can do.
Unfortunately, that spoon's not very guaranteed. It's one of 4 key items that can be shuffled out in this flag set.
Yeah, absolutely. So it is not guaranteed, but everybody who would be running it will probably want to find it for that added punch anyways. Yeah, that one along with, I believe, the Legend Sword or the Pink Tail.
Or the Adamant.
Or the Adamant might be dummied out because we've got the pass in one of those key item spots. That pass is another thing that people would like to find because it's the shortcut to Zeramus. But in this flag set, since a lot of people are going to be grinding on the moon, they're going to be right next to where they can walk to Zeramus as well. So it might not be as spicy a find as it is in other flag sets.
Particularly, say, League Forge, where if you have the flag and both crystal components on the Earth, what's the point?
Yeah, exactly. So, looks like we've got... we're going to start with Edward and Edward, of course. And then we can find Edward and Edward and Edward. But we do have free lunch on, so that means people can fill out their party as soon as they want to. And there's a free key item available in Toria Castle as well. So.
And we're starting out with the pass. Okay.
All right, well, let's head to Zeramus right away. Well, I guess we still need a crystal. But if anybody saw last night's qualifier, we're pretty close to go mode right now.
We just need the crystal.
All we need is a crystal.
And we could just show off those level 1 Zeramus strats.
I believe it's level 5, but yes.
Well, close enough in this case. In fact, I think only Redia starts at level 1.
I believe, well, and Paladin Cecil, but...
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I that's a corner case. I don't know how much that counts, so...
Oh, we have Edward in the inn.
Oh, yeah, nice thing. Well, we will see a lot of people doing a lot of looting, because we do have a T4 for our treasures, so anything could be an...
And...
even adamant... You could get... Go ahead.
In the Baron item shop, we have cabins.
That's a useful item. We also see the Darkness Crystal being awarded in Toria Castle as the free key item there.
So we already have Moon Access. We have the pass.
Yeah, we have the Moon Access. We have the pass. We have 2 ways to get to Zeramus right now. But it does seem that with this T4, there's lots of good equipment, good items, and even if Edward can't use a lot of the items, they can be sold because we have the S3 flag, so there's lots of good things to buy in shops. Lots of goodies there.
No, I mean, we do have plenty of good things we can buy because of S3. In fact, I believe it's everything but the most powerful equipment.
Right, yeah, just like the second tier. Like, you're not going to find an Artemis bow for sale, but you can find a Samurai bow for sale, and that would be something that I think a lot of people will be looking for. You can see lots of great items, like you see elixirs for sale over in Toria there, hourglasses, moon veils, grimoires. These are all great items that can help Edward deal with a lot of bosses.
Which is pretty good because We don't know what sort of equipment he can actually equip. We're going to find.
Yeah, we did see in the bottom of Toria Castle a dancing dagger, which, if anybody's seen the vanilla speedrun of this game, knows that that is a very useful item for Edward to have for the early bosses.
Avenger in Damsian.
Yeah, whenever you find an Avenger on a seed that doesn't have Cecil or Kane, it's like, why couldn't it be on that other seed? Because those are the... When you've got Cecil and Kane, you absolutely want that Avenger, and now it's like, well, at least I can sell it.
Edward can bow. Edward bows fairly well.
Yeah, it looks like we see an Artemis bow is available in Damsian Castle as well. The best bow in the game. So that's going to be nice if we can find enough arrows. Now, you can rely on the treasure chest to find your arrows, but we might see people dipping into equipment shops to try to find, because Artemis arrows can be sold in shops as well.
And an arty bow with Artemis arrows and a Bacchus vines can make Edward do a lot of work.
Yeah, I mean, that's second only to the spoon for how much damage he can do.
Looks like EI Klopfer is about to pick up his Darkness Crystal.
Yeah, gonna see... I'm not surprised that we're not seeing anybody take on any bosses yet. We want to get probably a lot of the looting, a lot of the shopping done first, and then assess where we can go for looking for bosses to fight and key items to acquire.
Now, due to the nature of the sea, we're probably not going to see them go up Mount Hobbs.
We see Zyrak going to check the character in Kaipo, probably on autopilot, and realizes, oh wait, that's going to be Edward.
Other ones in the Kaipo shop.
We see Arrow picking up mute arrows over in what town is that? That looks like that is Kaipo. So that's an arrow that's pretty useful. It's not as strong as like samurai arrows or Artemis arrows, but it hits a couple key weaknesses for certain bosses. So it's a very useful one.
Let's see, Magus Sisters, Gulbez, Asura,
and the Baron Guards as well, and the Rubicon.
Does the Rubicon? Yeah.
The Rubicon part of the Elements fight for sure.
Now, does it affect normal Rubicon or just Elements Rubicon? Also, we have Zyra diving into Antlion Cave.
Yeah, so we're going to see our first of our runners checking a boss and checking another key item spot that we haven't seen yet.
Picking up all this money gear on his way.
Yeah, that's another advantage of this Antlion Cave. There are so many chests in there that are in a relatively small dungeon. So you get to get a lot of equipment, which is a lot of money, a lot of funding for the rest of the shopping spree in this overworld.
Taking a quick save before he goes down to check who's at Antlion spot.
We're finding exits in the Agar town. That's a very useful item, along with Stardust, a very nice attacking item. An AoE non-elemental attack item. It is pretty pricey at 8,000 GP pop.
And we have Fabul Gauntlet. Good.
Yeah. Zyrak's going to be here for a while.
Meanwhile, Error is popping that Darkness Crystal and is about to head up to the moon.
Yeah, not sure if he's actually going to go to the moon yet.
Or if he's just popping the crystal.
Yeah, might want to shop in Mysidia and just like, I'm going to have to, trigger this cutscene at some time. Might as well get this over with now. And then when I want to go to the moon later, it's available to me as soon as I want. And Klopfer following suit from Zyrak and heading down to the bottom of the Antlion Cave, while Woobear gets his hovercraft and another Edward.
Error is now checking Mysidia's shops. It's about to get his double Edward there.
Yeah, filling out the party with this free lunch. Free characters in Damtian, 2 in Mysidia, 1 in the Watery Pass, 1 on Mount Ordeals. So yeah, you can have 5 Edwards as soon as you want in this seed. Another interesting item that Woobear just picked up in the Antlion Cave is the Assassin Dagger. Edward can use daggers, and the Assassin Dagger has the property of inflicting instant death, and if it works, that can make something like this gauntlet fight go a bit faster, but it's not always reliable.
Meanwhile, Dem is giving us the cursed image of soft locking on the football gauntlet here.
Yeah, that is unfortunately an actual possibility.
Well, that's just cursed. But it looks like Zyrek is through the gauntlet after he deals with these last 2 fighters.
Era finds Bacchus wines for sale in Silvera, so that'll be a very useful. Along with
and Era also, yeah, that's going to make that Artie bow even better.
Yeah, so Artemis arrows and Bacchus wines available in Silvera. That is a very useful town for shopping.
And he is now headed to Antlion Cave to find it. Oh, there's the rat tail. To find his football gauntlet, along with everyone else.
The rat tail, at least it's a key item. Doesn't have any progression at this point. Need that hook before you can cash it in, of course. But it does knock the Antlion Cave off the chart. Does get you 1 key item closer to that 10 key items for double experience. So, I mean, it does serve some purposes, even though it's a little bit doesn't give you a direction right now. So it looks like Zyrek might be going to the next boss spot in like logic order, which would be the football defense.
And let's just get rid of all of his excess junk.
Yeah, oftentimes when you get to a place that has a shop that you can sell items at, you just sell everything that he can't equip. He buys a bunch of dancing daggers to make all of his Edwards a little bit more useful with that.
And yeah, from the sounds of things, Klopfer decided to just Zeus Rage through that encounter.
Yeah, that's kind of an expensive way of doing it, but it does save time.
I mean, when money is no object.
Well, we get a lot of things to sell, but I wouldn't say money is no object. You can afford more than you normally could, but still, these attack items, the Zeus Rages, the Boreases, the Gaia Drums, these are not cheap.
Dropping those move bales just to get through Leviathan for sure.
Yeah, that'll make it so that the Ice 2s get reflected right back onto the boss, make it a lot safer. And the only attack that you really have to fear from Leviathan is that big wave, which does a percentage damage anyways, so it's not gonna end up defeating the party. And yeah, Klopfer also buying those dancing daggers. We'll have more of them, like, depending on agilities and everything, it might be more attacks that he gets, it might not be. Agility works really weird in this game. That's all I can say.
I still don't understand it myself.
Woobear done with that gauntlet fight. This is one of these fights where it's like you don't want to see the Fabul Gauntlet because it is a long fight. However, with it being an Antlion and this being an Edward percent seed, the vast majority of the runners are going to go through it. So it's not like you're losing time because you're fighting this fight in this particular scene.
And it looks like we had the Sand Rupee for Fabul, so it's just an extra key item. Nothing too exciting.
Yeah, as Zyrek has peeked into Kaipo, he knows it's an Edward there. So.
And it looks like Zyrek is going for the Baron End guards. Well, Millen, whatever, in the Baron End guards.
Yeah, this is maybe the first divergence we may see, because there's a couple places that you can check here or mount ordeals. This one is probably just a little bit more difficult, but shorter.
And we have Millen Z here.
Yeah, this first fight shouldn't be too tough. Not very much HP in the first fight but that second one can be tough.
See, I believe the first fight's just like 400 some HP, and the second fight is like 4,000.
Yeah, and the second one.
And it's Mom Bomb.
Ooh, that is a nasty fight for this spot because this has a pretty decent physical attack. Luckily, Zyrek has purchased those moon veils. Now the question is, is he going to try to tank the explosion when it comes, or is he going to try to hide it?
That is a very good question. Because we could just cheese out this part of the fight and then hide and be done with it.
Yeah, I think hiding is definitely going to be the safer option. I think it would be a little bit greedy to try to just take the explosion and try to survive. You could get through the fight a little bit faster if you survive and are able to use something like a Zeus Rage to clear out the bombs when they come out. But I think it's not worth it when you've only got 160 HP on your characters.
And it's about to explode. And here comes the hides. We're out of here. Bye, Mom Bomb.
Oh, he's gonna risk it with one. So this is an interesting way of doing it too.
And yeah, here comes Howard Grimoire.
Oh, and he gets the big dragon.
Well, those bombs are dead.
Yeah, no chance.
And gets the twin harp. Oh, good. I want some music.
Yeah, a twin harp and another Edward.
I mean, yeah, we did get a twin harp from Edward. That's canon.
Yep, that's his thing. That's what he does.
Rose's mom blocking the way.
Yeah, one of the nasty NPCs that just wants to stifle your movement. You see, this is interesting. Zyrek deciding to route the looting of Baron Town along with the Baron Inn fight, so that only has to go through this once.
Where do you think Cyrek's going to go from here? He has two options.
Yeah, he's got. He could go to either Mount Ordeals or the Cave Magnets. I don't think Zyrek's found the Artemis arrows for sale, as some of our other runners have, and so trying to go down to that Dark Elf spot with the Dancing Dagger strategy that he's been using so far is going to be a bit rough, because the Dancing Dagger counts as a magical attack, and that spot has super high magic defense. So I would imagine that Zyrek would lean towards Ordeals, unless he wants to keep shopping and finds bows and arrows.
speaking of ordeals, Woobear is up there.
Yeah, so we're going to see we're going to get a peek at the bosses up there very shortly. Although he is doing a reset. Wonder if accidentally R triggered a treasure or something that he wants to get. Looks like Error is now finding those Artemis arrows.
Let's go buy himself a hefty stack or 5.
Now it looks like Woobear didn't want to do ordeals, so it's heading over. Well, it's heading over to Baron. Maybe going to try those fights at Baron Inn instead.
Also buying himself a nice stack of wine.
Yeah, when you're in Silvera, that's what you do. Those shops are very nice there. Again, Bacchus is another one that's not a cheap item, but extremely useful, especially when you've got those Artemis arrows that you're using.
I mean, damn, I have popped over in a Grimoire and got a Chocobo. It just feels bad. Please don't wish that on them. Era going in for the Milan Z fight with a Chaser Mom Bomb action.
It looks like Woobear picking up those Artemis arrows as well.
I believe that Zyrek is the only one who has not found those arrows.
Yeah, I believe that's correct. And Zyrek is heading up Mount Ordeals. Gonna have the opportunity for Edward to atone for him being a Dark Knight and all. Finds, I believe, his 4th Edward. Who was on Mount Ordeals anyways to learn Meteor.
That's a very important spell for him to learn. Too bad he can't cast it. Now, who's our first boss here? It is... Oh, it's a moon boss. Ogopogo.
Yeah, this is kind of a tough fight, I think. Yeah,
because he's just always going to be countering with that.
Yeah, that blaze will be the counter for those dancing daggers. This is what he's been using so far. Yeah, Club for now in that Ogopogo fight as well. Oh, Error just doing tons of damage. Didn't even get to the explode. Nicely done there.
Wheelbear risking the explode and is probably just pops an hourglass. So he'll be through this in a moment. Yeah, no, this is just a rough fight when most of your damage is behind a dancing dagger.
Yeah, I mean, if you have that Artemis arrows, Artemis bow, and Bacchus, that might be a way to get through this a little bit safer than using these dancer dragons, but. But it looks like both Zyrek and Eli Klupfer continue to using that dancing dagger, and that spells the end for Eli Klupfer.
I think he's already had to reset this fight once.
But Zyrak able to get through. So very nicely done there, because that was not an easy fight for the setup of his party.
One of his Edwards does end up face down though at the end.
Yeah, but 3 out of 4 ain't bad. I mean, that's even better than a Meatloaf's percentage, so that's pretty good. Now we get to see the second fight up on Mount Ordeals.
It's Waterhag.
Well, that's a lot safer than Ogopogo. Although it is Edward's true nemesis.
It's also boxing for a fair bit of damage.
Yeah, it'll do a decent amount of damage here, but this fight will be won. Meanwhile, Woo Bear is heading over to the Magnet Cave, so looks like we are going to have
music soon.
Yeah, some nice harp tunage.
Comfort still is having fun with Blaze counters. And he's through the fight.
Yeah, nicely done. Again, a couple of dead Edwards, but they were the ones at level 5 anyways, so getting a couple more is better.
And you probably want one of them at level 5 anyway.
Yeah, and even if with the rescue flag on, even if they do get extra experience you don't want, you can always head to Mysidia and pick up an original level 5, fresh out of the
clone boost.
Yeah, exactly.
And
I was going to use blister pack, but sure.
Oh, sorry.
Looks like we have Golbez in the third fight on Mount Ordeals. Not who you want to see there, but let's not bury the lead. We've got some music coming up very shortly. This is very important stuff. So let's listen to some of DJ Spoony B's rockin' tunes.
And we have Eris's theme. Oh, and they got a pink tail up on Mount Ordeals, so it looks like progression is over at Twin Heart.
Yeah, and that pigtail will make once the hook is found. Hopefully, the hook is what we get for the twin harp, but it makes it now triply important because that may be our underground access. We've got both a rat tail and a pink tail, so. A countdown coming down for Bahamut, though. As Error starts to enter this fight as well. And Woobear now veiling up in anticipation of the Mega Nuke.
And here it comes.
Combination of hiding and the veils made it very easy to end that fight. So well done by Woobear.
Coffer has finished off Golbez and is now free at Mount Ordeals. His has been upgraded to a Halibard.
And Zyrak now in Silvera is going to find those Artemis arrows and be like, man, I wish I had these for the Ogopogo fight.
And we do get a hook from Dark Elf spot, so yay.
Yeah, PMA can't definitely confirm it's a hook seed yet. We do have access to the rat tail right now. And so I don't want to wish that it's a magma key from there, but it still is a possible magma seed.
Unless we have Crystal at Rat Tail spot, I think this is an underground.
Yeah, I think even if we have Crystal at Rat Tail spot, there's a good chance that at least some of our runners are going to be going underground. Yeah, PMA, yeah, K1. So no key items on the moon, but if we do find as Paranoia mentioned, if the crystal is found in that rat tail spot, you could theoretically just go to the moon, grind, and be ready to go because we've got the pass, we've got the darkness crystal. If we've got the crystal, we've got access to beating Xeramus. So. And here we are, arrow at the Adamant Grotto to see what we've got for this rat tail.
Well, we have a key item. That's about it.
Yeah, so this is a confirmed hook seed now.
Any hopes and dreams our runners had of avoiding having to go underground by the hook is now dead.
Yep, and they'll be able to pick up yet another Edward in the Evelyn Cave.
I mean, you can always use more Edwards.
And PMA asking, have they found D-Mist? They haven't, but it doesn't really matter. Again, this is a free lunch seed, so D-Mist doesn't give you anything else. And it looks like Era is going to be the first of our runners to dive into the Evelyn Cave. And we've got our final two runners going to be enjoying some harp music here.
Excuse me for a moment while I let out an audible sigh at Desmington. That was for you. Anyway, so so you think our character is going to be in Cave Evelyn here?
I think I think a Kane is somebody that everybody's going to want to see. We see ninja hats for sale on Woobear's screen. That's a very good one to buy.
Oh, God. If he gets married, does he become Wedward? Thank you, Dem.
Yeah, Klopp for finding out that those dancing daggers do not do much work on Bahamut in this spot. Now, it is worth noting that Error, who's making that dive into Evelyn Cave, did not go through Mount Ordeals. did not get that pink tail, and so will not have an adamant armor for this journey. When Ei Klopfer and Zyrak get their hook and go to the Adamant Grotto to cash in their rat tail, they'll also have a pink tail to cash in, and so they'll be able to have an adamant armor when fighting the possible bosses at the Rubicon spot and the King and Queen Evelyn spot. So that'll be an advantage that they have in that fight for sure.
And the puns just keep on rolling. As we get closer and closer to seeing who the character is here, and less importantly, who the boss is in the Rubicon spot.
And as Era's opening all these chests and looking for a couple key pieces of equipment, things like power robes, things like Artemis bows, those are going to be probably the best things. Well, and adamant armors to find in these sort of chests. And so this dungeon that has a lot of chests, this Evelyn Cave, is one where there's just a lot of possibility of finding really good equipment.
And we have an Edward and a Bygone.
Ooh, Bygone in the Rubicon spot, kind of a difficult fight. If there still are, if Era still has those moon veils, they can help from the physical side of it. Depends on whether or not he still has some of those in stock.
I mean, who could have foreseen another Edward coming up? But yeah, without that adamant, I'm pretty sure Rubicon spot hits pretty hard physically.
Yeah, I mean, this is where like Ei Klopfer and Zyrak will have a bit of an advantage with adamant for that fight. However, the physicals, like we have seen those moon veils in action so far, but they're expensive. I think like 8K a pop. So it depends on how many people we're able to afford and keep in stock through this. Because we also had see our runners burn through some of those on the Bahamut fight as well. We see Era switching his arrows during this Mad Ogre fight to mute arrows because they will do 4 times damage against these Mad Ogres and make this fight a lot faster.
Zyrak getting his looting Dempsey and getting himself an Artemis bow and the hovercraft and yet another Edward.
Now the upside for Woobear and Error here, since they didn't go through Mount Ordeals, is they've got a bit of a lead here. If they can get through these bosses without the adamant armor and make through like Mount Ordeals, we know with the Pigtail it's not required, so they'll be able to save that time. But the advantage that an early adamant can give can be big through the end, and that could give Ei Klopfer and Zyrak the chance to catch up to Woobear and Error, who have a bit of a lead going in by skipping Mount Ordeals.
And in the Sharpshooter there's a Masamune, or Muramasa.
A big old edge sword.
Unfortunately, we don't have an edgy boy today, so that's getting hawked off the.
Yeah, those legendary weapons sell for a lot of money. Woobear now able to pick up another Edward. And yeah, so EI Klopfer is already caught up to Woobear. And Error just about to see the boss in the King and Queen Edlin spot.
And it is. I have to recheck this chest. Rubicant. Or elements.
It is Rubicant.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I think this spot has about 6k HP.
That sounds pretty close. That might be a little. I'm not an expert on the HP value, so I don't want to speak out of turn. I know that it's quite a bit less than the next fight.
Which, if I remember correctly, is about 21k. Oh, not 21k. 21k, yeah.
So the magic stat at this point isn't too strong, but that glare is still going to be enough to one-shot any Edward. And we see Error burning a couple moon veils here. Now, Error does know that Baigen is waiting in that next spot. Now, those counterfire 2s will add up, and so that seems to be the logic of using these moon veils here. But he's got to make sure that he still has enough for that Baigen fight, because without that adamant armor to protect against the physical things, that moon veil is going to be very important.
Hoffer also in the fight. He may pass Error up here in a moment.
Yeah, you see this King Queen Evelyn spot actually has a very high physical defense. Hit the Edward that has the adamant armor and for still about 60 damage, so that's pretty strong. I think we're going to see this duo of Rubicant and Baigen is not going to be an easy duo to get past. Although Error has made it past Rubicant, now just has Baigen to contend with.
This has EI Klopfer.
And Rubicant wishing Edward the best of luck.
Can I just say I am enjoying the rapid fire puns in chat?
EI Klopfer the first to get into that Baigen fight with Error right behind. And Error starting those moon veils up right away knows how dangerous the physical attacks from Baigen are going to be at that spot. Just one of his Edwards still goes. Two of his Edwards get hit early.
Pops a Grimoire and gets a Indra.
I don't think Klopfer's used the moon veils. I didn't see them on his screen.
Probably relying on the adamant armor just to get through this fight.
Yeah, and that may be enough. It looks like there might be enough equipment on those back road Edwards to tank a couple hits, and then could just do as much damage as he can with those grimoires to try to get through the battle as quickly as possible. And we can see these dancing daggers are starting to become outclassed. In the very early part of the game, they're very nice, but if you're spending your money on them, that's a lot of money to spend on a full suite of dancing daggers that aren't going to be useful for the majority of the game. It looks like Era has also started to use those grimoires as a strategy. They were for sale in the overworld, and they can be very useful. Since Edward by himself at these low levels without a lot of other equipment can't do a lot of damage.
Zarek about to enter his Bagan fight.
And we did see Woobear leave the Upper Babel, so might be going to someplace like the it looks like Castle Evelyn to get more equipment and more experience levels.
The middle Bacchus for Zarek is now not the middle Bacchus. Middle Edward for Zarek has now been busy drinking wine.
I think it might be appropriate to call him the middle Bacchus. And yeah, Klopfer, the first to take down Baigen and the first of our featured runners to have Underworld access.
Error just got Mist Dragon.
Yeah, Mist Dragon's kind of a not what you want to see.
So where do you expect Klopfer to go now that he has underground access?
Probably going to check the free key item in the Land of Summoned Monsters first, as well as doing as much looting as he. I'm not sure how confident EI is thinking right now for like his Edward's position through the rest of the run and how much money he needs to get. But we've got the bottom of the Land of Summoned Monsters, the little shed in the back of Tomra, and all of Dwarf Castle as basically free looting options. And I wouldn't be surprised if some amount of that gets looted at this point as well. And yes, heading straight to the Land of Summoned Monsters. Yeah. Air rolling yet another Mist Dragon.
Mist Dragon. You'd just like to get through this fight faster, and all you get's Mist Dragon, and it feels awful. Picking up a blizzard in that chest. A glass helm, that's pretty good.
Yeah, for bosses up before the Aziramus fight, the glass is very useful. Probably will equip something else for the Aziramus fight, though.
Mostly because the glass helm does. Oh, hello, Baron Key. Mostly because the glass helm just does not offer any magical defense, which is all you can really rely on during the Aziramus fight, right?
Yeah, Aziramus doesn't punch you. It's like we saw at the very beginning of the run a big old shopping spree from our runners, and now once we've got underground access, we're going to see another shopping spree. We see Cure 3 is for sale in the Land of Summoned Monster. Very useful for the end game.
And Zarek is through the Baigan fight.
Yeah, so we see this is where the runners who did mount ordeals are able to catch up. That adamant armor, not only providing a lot of defense in the Baigan fight, but also all the stat boosts for the offense as well. Just able to power through Baigan a lot easier than Error than the fight that Error's been having. So the lead that Error had by skipping mount ordeals has now been eliminated. Although Error is now through that Baigan fight as well. We'll see how quick it is before any of our like how much looting the runners want to do before, like looting and shopping before they check either something like the Sheila check from the Sylph Cave, the Dwarf Castle, or the Baron Castle, since we get that Baron key now.
Coffer and Zyrak both going on a world tour of an underground tour of shop. And Coffer is going to go speak to Yang.
Yeah, this is a since you know each visit to Sheila will give a key item. This isn't going to be a wasted trip. If the other option is waiting until you get the pan before doing that, and then you only need to make one trip and get 2 key items out of it. But 1 key item, 2 key items. If Sheila 1 is what you need, then Eli Koper saves some time here. So it's a gamble either way, either to wait or go. One of them may pay off. Maybe neither of them pay off. We don't know.
And Cloak for the Baron Key and a visit to Sheila is going to head back up ground.
Yeah, maybe routing both that Baron and Sheila check in one. So that might be a good reason for wanting to head down there. And we see Kluffer didn't check as much of the looting as the others are doing right now. Like we didn't see a full Dwarf Castle clear of all the treasures. There's a lot of treasures in a Dwarf Castle.
And Sheila has the crystal.
Oh, we are in go mode. So that first trip, not waiting for the pass, did pay out for Klopper for sure. And it looks like Klopper's at 9 key items. So going to be looking probably to collect 1 more key item before grinding on the moon or whatever the grind decision is going to be.
That's probably going to be a quick trip over to maybe Baron Castle or Dwarf Castle.
Yeah, I think Dwarf is a little bit quicker.
Nope, no, it looks like... No, he's just headed to Mysidia.
Yeah, he's already activated the big whale, so it looks like wants to get those star veils. And it looks like we had an employment dwarf check, so that makes me very happy. Social worker. My favorite NPC in the game. And Woobear now confident with the levels to take on the bosses at the end of Upper Babel.
It looks like to me that Klopfer is getting himself an agility, Edward.
Yes, so that was probably a good reason to head to Mysidia then. Ooh, and it looks like going to go for a Giant of Babel grind. We saw a runner do the D Machine Edward grind last night. We'll see. I've heard tales of people using Mac Giants in the Giant of Babel as a grind. We'll see what Clopper's plan is going to be. I'm curious as to doing this at 9 key items rather than 10, thinking that the time of finding that key item won't make up for the time of just doing the grind right now.
Error is checking out Dwarf Castle and has found vanilla dolls.
I mean, is this even randomized? When I get to this fight and have my 5 events, it's always going to be the dolls in this fight in the vanilla game.
Zyrak is diving Self Cave and is may be about to find their crystal. I mean, if they go immediately above ground and check in with Sheila. They have other options to open to them, so they may not do that.
Yeah, I think Zyrak doesn't have that Baron key yet, so might be routing the 2 damage. Oh no, looks like heading straight back up.
Gotta see if Sheila has the goods, which she does.
Looks like Klopfer was doing some the setup that I normally see for a D machine hunt, so.
And our second boss at Dwarf Castle, along with another Edward, is Asura. Now, I believe Asura is one of those bosses that really does not like mute arrows.
Yeah, it doesn't like mute arrows, also doesn't like the element bow, so a couple of different ways that you can inflict tons of damage on Asura.
And I believe this spot has way less HP than the first spot does.
Oh yeah.
And goodbye, Asura. Okay, looks like Zyrak is going towards Dwarf Castle. I think he wants that 10th key item.
I agree. I think that's the reasoning there as well. Maybe picking up an agility Edward along the way as well. Either an agility or a slingshot Edward, either way.
And yeah, I do believe I agree that Klopfer picked up both over at Miss.
And it looks like it didn't like the setup with those auto hides, so I'm going to try again for this fight. Looks like the reward for Dwarf Castle is that spoon. So we do have...
Ooh.
Like, there's another good reason for completing that dwarf. You get your 10th key item, you get your spoon.
And that means either the Adamant or the Legend Sword is one of the key items that was shuffled out.
Now, Error is still a key item short because he did not complete Mount Ordeal, so did not get that pigtail.
Also, unfortunately for Zyrak, we have a doll form.
Yeah, we have a giant doll.
It's dead now.
able to take down the Calbrena.
Clover is still looking for that formation.
Yeah, and Woobear still having some troubles in that Baigan fight. Might not be using those moon veils. I see they're in his inventory, but those physical hits are still they keep coming.
And with Baigon, they don't stop coming.
Yeah.
Alas, no agility Edward for Zyrek. Or Slingshot Edward.
Not at this point, at least. Woobear having to take a reset to try that Baigan fight again.
And it looks like Klopfer got what he wanted this time.
Yeah, able to kill his level 5 Edwards so that the rest of the fight goes the way that he wants it to go. Just didn't want them to take turns that weren't going to help. Looks like Zyrex threw that Ashura fight, and now we're going to be rewarded with a spoon.
Ooh, middle Edward punching.
Yeah. Klopfer might be wanting to do this fight with just one Edward that has those Artemis arrows that deal extra damage against dragons. And just trying to be as efficient with his turns as possible.
It also seems to be his adamant Eddie, so...
Yeah, so the physical attacks aren't scary. The fire attack does do a percentage damage, so the adamant doesn't really help there. But at 335 HP, it can just do that one cure 2 in between D-machines and be fully healed for the next one, so...
He also seems to be, yeah, he's just pulling out as many of these as he can. And it looks like Zyrek is going for the grind on the moon.
Yeah, this is, I think, what makes the Edward flag set the most interesting, is there's lots of different ways of doing the grind, lots of things that people are comfortable with. Because in a lot of J-item flag sets, you've got access to those sirens, and so you're probably either going to do an egg grind or a King Ryu grind, just because those are real efficient ways to get lots of XP fast. But in this, since you don't have access to that kind of quote-unquote standard way of grinding in free enterprise, you've got to think outside the box and do something different. And so we're seeing lots of different things that lots of different runners are doing. And that, I think that's the most fascinating thing about this this flag set.
Woobear taking another passive by again. His error is, since they never picked up the Pinktail, is going through Baron Castle for the 10th key item.
Yeah, and figures that's going to be a faster route than going through Mount Ordeals, which admittedly is true, especially knowing that that third fight up on Mount Ordeals is Golbez. That's not a short run to go through Ordeals to get that done. And we knew from the beginning of the game that this first tier was going to be the Dark Imps. So this is a logical thing. He doesn't know that this means that he's going to be missing a tail of that adamant armor that like Zyrak has right now. And Klopfer.
We'll probably see him grind up to level 60 for safety during the Zeramus fight, though. Just because you want that extra HP on Edward.
Especially without the adamant armor. It kind of depends on how confident the runners are at nerfing their big bangs. If they can get the agility where they want so that they can time the counter stamp into the right place, you could go at the in the early as low as the early 50s, I think. But if they're not as confident in that with their Edwards, or they can't get their agility where they want, yeah, up to about level 60 or so is probably what they want. Couch asking if we're going to see Core 3 grind. I haven't seen that on screen yet, but I'd love to see somebody try it. So yeah, Aaron definitely picking the faster fight, seeing the Dark Imps in the first one and King and Queen Evelyn in the second fight in Baron in. That's very fast to get through those. And we'll
especially
get that them.
Especially with a Spoon Ward bonking them.
Yeah.
And our character in Chaos Baron is Edward.
Yeah, big shocker of a character there.
Hey, Edward. Oh, and he's taking an agility, Edward. Or a slingshot, Edward.
Looks like Zyrak's going to be fighting some of the lunar bosses.
Hey, Valvalis!
This spot is worth at 10 key items is worth a nice 200k experience.
And he reset out.
but this is Valvalis in a moon boss spot. It's not something you want to try to.
And then the trash can, we had Luca Key.
Yeah, probably not going to go anywhere near the sealed cave, but Aaron now got the 10th key item, ready to do a grind and fight Zero. Yeah, Valvalis could be one of the nastiest bosses to fight because of that tornado form. And in this flag set, she is beatable, but it kind of depends on where you find her and what you have access to.
You know, I just thinking, if any of our on-screen runners, let's see, they could have gone to pick up the Baron key, got over to Baron to get the trash can, and then gone down to sealed cave, and possibly found the tower key and got a very cursed tower this season.
That's a possibility, yeah. Looks like Error heading back to Silvera on the blue planet. Probably wants more Artemis arrows or Bacchuses.
I caught for just, going through D machine after D machine.
And Zyrak able to defeat Yang.
And Zyrek picks up a power shirt for that.
Yeah, if you're going to get a prize for a lunar fight at this point, at least that's something that you can use. And I think I should also notice that we do have a first place finisher in this race, because these four are not the only people running today, but Dusty Griff has finished in first place at a time of 1 hour, 7 minutes, and 35 seconds. So GG's for Dusty, and you can't keep Dusty out of these final tables, that's for sure.
Well then. The second place finish is still anyone's game, so...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, first and second place are guaranteed in the final table. And if you get third place, you still have a chance, third, fourth. There are still possibilities with that Z score. Kind of depends on how the field does. We do now see Error heading into the lunar subterrane. We'll see what the grind that he wants to do is going to end up being. Looks like he's going to grind here. I believe this is LST4 that has a 25% chance, or I think it's 24% chance of getting the double King Ryu fight.
Blue Bear has made his way past Bygone and is headed down to Feymarch to pick up his Baron King.
That's good to see Wu Bear overcome that. He was struggling with that for a while. It looks like Zyrax fighting down a couple floors lower for his grind. This one has a higher chance of the King Ryu Jing Ryu fight. Not quite as much experience as the double King Ryu, but I believe it's a higher percentage of seeing. And it looks like it's, in Error's case, that's going to be purely an agility Edward. Just keeping dead for the grind fights instead of a slingshot strategy.
Oh, Edward, please face tank the ground.
Yeah, without those adamant armor on Error's Scream, the damage that those King Ryus could do is real, without a doubt. Ooh, looks like Klopfer is reviving his Edwards. Looks like he might be about done with this grind. So we can see how many levels those slingshotted Edwards are going to get.
He berserks his Artibo Edward, and...
Yeah, after stopping the Searcher. 481k experience.
52 levels.
And that's at 9 key items. That would have been like over 900k experience for that long of a fight with 10 key items. And we do have a second place finisher. Moonblaze Wolf has finished in second place with a time of 1 hour. So GG's.
Now that does not mean any of the other runners in this race are necessarily out of qualifying. It all depends on Z-score now.
Yep, because there's 4 kind of wild card spots open at the final table based on Z scores. So still want to try to finish as quickly as possible, and so that's why Klopper's probably glad that he's done with his grind at this point, wants to head to Zero Miss as quickly as possible. Zero's asking how long. Blaze finished at 1 hour, 13 minutes, and 2 seconds. Oh, I'm sorry about that, Sirius. I hope my microphone isn't acting up too bad. And it looks like Klopper's just getting everything adjusted to his liking, heading to that Zero Miss fight after his grind. Since he's got those Slingshot Edwards now, they're going to be the ones equipped with the best stuff to just do as much damage as possible during that Zero Miss fight. Looks like Klopper wants something else at this point, too. Not going directly to Zero Miss.
Okay, so he's headed over to where he passed, picking himself up then agility, Edward.
Yeah, wants that agility, Edward. That makes sense. Our restreamer Demerin saying, Dusty already staking a claim for a favorite at Highway to the Zima Zone 2, maybe? I would say at this point, Dusty has to be a favorite in almost anything free enterprise related with how well he's handled all these vastly different flag sets.
Looks like Klopper is engaging in a little bit of menuing just before he goes into Zero Miss.
Yeah, it's kind of nice to know where your items are instead of having to hunt for them during the fight. Now, or you could do my strategy, which is make sure you've got everything where you want them, and then still hunt for them because you forgot where you put them.
I mean, that's also my strategy. How dare you? How dare you crib it?
Yeah, well, I mean, I learned from the best.
Bluebeard about to pick up his spoon, which he's going to be very happy with.
Yeah, that makes fighting any bosses after this a lot easier.
It looks like Natara also has the same strategy.
Well, great minds think alike, then. So now, as Klopfer is heading over to the Zermus fight, we get to ask, whose butt are we going to kick tonight? Or this afternoon, whatever time of day it is where you're at.
Oh, it's technically afternoon for me.
Oh yeah, me too. But I mean, this free enterprise is a worldwide phenomenon. So
I mean, I usually forget where items are at. I try to take notes, and then I forget. Where were Soul Clubs again? I can't remember. I want Poochie. Give me a Poochie. Come on, Poochie.
oh, Poochie's a good one. We have a third place finisher, Zilch, finished in third place, time of 1 hour, 19 minutes, and 26 seconds. GG's to Zilch. Oh, and thanks for the raid, Dusty.
Yeah, thank you.
GG's on your run tonight.
How'd you feel about the sea, Dusty? Also, we're about to see who it is. It is. I believe that's original recipe Dragon Quest III final boss.
Dragon Quest IV.
Thank you.
Necrosaro or Saramus, depending on which translation you see.
I don't know why I was thinking 3. Yes, it was 4. Don't listen to me. I get very confused very easily.
Yeah, 3 has Zoma as the. You see, after all that grinding, all that slingshotting that Klopfer did, the two powerful Edwards still have less than 1700 HP. That's how bad Edwards' HP growth is in this game. So you've got to be very careful. And
that bottom Edward is probably about to go down again.
Oh yeah.
Good night, Edward.
But that's what makes this such a challenging seed. You've got to grind. You have to grind further than you normally have to grind with other characters, and you don't have access to those sirens. Yeah, Pooexel saying Big Bang looks like freezing waves, although freezing waves would be more akin to the black hole. So,
and it looks like Zyrek is headed down to Zeramus himself.
Yeah, satisfied with the grinding there, so.
Ooh, this is bad news for Klopfer.
Yeah, that's a reset there. Trying to adjust some equipment to try to give himself a better shot this time around. Now, Era is leveled up a bit higher than Klopfer did, and has that agility Edward in the middle, ready to go. It looks like heading back to the blue planet, probably going to be fighting shortly anyways. Zyrak is transforming Zeramus as we speak.
And is about to find his own Necrosaro.
Looks like Zyrak a little early with that silk web. That the timing on the when you can hit Zeramus with items after the transformation is not.
Not very intuitive.
Yeah, it's not necessarily when you feel like it should be.
I feel like when I normally do this fight, and like one of my rare moments of competence, I try to like have a someone who likes drinking wine up second, so whoever's third can throw out the silk web because that usually is enough of a buffer.
Yeah, and oftentimes even waiting until the berserk character gets a chance to do one attack in, so you know that it's good. I mean, it depends on your situation. Sometimes that's waiting too long, but that's a way that you know that it's going to hit because that silk web can be very important for the long run of the fight. Yeah, Cool Pants Guy saying not getting that 10th key item is going to cost Klopp, and it looks like it might. Like as we said, like if he had gone and gotten that 10th key item before doing that same grind, it would have been a difference of hundreds of thousands of experience that he got for that same time investment. And so this fight would be a cinch if he had another, 450,000 experience.
Looks like Zyworks took an unnerfed Big Bane, and only his middle Berserk Edward is up, and that's a reason.
Yeah, the timing for nerfing Big Bangs can be very important if you're not trying to hide with Edward. And unfortunately, since Zyrak is going the walking route, has a lot longer walk to try again with not using the pass.
Error is now starting their Zeramus fight. As it looks like Woo Bear went up Mount Ordeal to get himself that pink tail.
Yeah, so that's going to be a nice little addition for Woo Bear to have that in his arsenal for the rest of the fight. Because that's something that Error does not have, although he does have a bit more on the levels. So might be trying to mitigate the fact that he doesn't have that adamant armor with the fact that he's got basically just stronger Edwards in general. While we're in this final fight, we do have a couple more finishes. Dark Kobold finished in 4th place at 1 hour, 25 minutes, and 52 seconds. And shortly behind, we have Aizentiyama finished in 5th place with a time of 1 hour, 26 minutes, and 1 second. So GG's to those runners.
That would be correct.
Yeah, Dustminion asking the Mewling Baby at phrase. That's probably going to be my new band name. To tinker with turn priority, that's correct. By having a really low character in the middle position, the other characters in the fight will have take more turns relative to. That's kind of like the most rudimentary things. There's a lot more specifics that go into it, and if you have questions related to that, I highly advise heading onto the Discord, where there's a lot of people who know a lot of specifics about agility anchoring. And Klopfer utilizing a hide on one of his Edwards to save himself from the tyranny of the Big Bang. Whew.
Yeah, that cut it very close there.
Yeah, not sure if going to be able to get a healing item off before HP runs out here. Ooh, that virus. The black hole does give a little bit more time for a little bit of recovery, but that was rough. But But he does get his 2 strong Edwards back up now, so back in the game. Although we see a shake and another big bang is going to be coming shortly. Meanwhile, Zyrek making that walk of shame again and have to do another round against the last boss. And this just goes to show you, Zeramis is no joke. Take Zeramis seriously when you're playing this game, because these are good runners that are dying to Zeramis.
That counter nuke getting the top Edward. Rest in peace, Edward. And there's Shake.
Woobear did get the crystal from Sheila, so Woobear's in go mode as well.
And, well, you're stepping in Baron for some cabin. And going to go check the trash can.
And we see rocks falling down on Error's screen, so Error might be very close to finishing here.
It's going to come down to the wire. And he's done it.
That was very close. Very nicely done by Error.
And
Finishing
Error?
it at 6th place at a time of 1 hour, 30 minutes, and 10 seconds. So GG's to Error. And we'll see if Error wants to talk for a minute with us. And I believe we are joined by Error. Error, GG's on your run today.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're the first of our 4 featured runners to defeat Zeramis, although you weren't the first to get there. Looks like you had some success. You had power leveled your Edwards up a little bit higher than some of our others did. Was that what was your plan with the grind?
I didn't have Adamant,
Right.
so I knew I needed somewhere around level 60. That's 1900 to 2000 hit points. I thought about getting a couple more just to try and be a little safe, but got the level 60 and I just went.
Yeah, and it looks like you had like at least one apple that you used to help bolster that HP a little bit too, huh?
I used the apple on the Edward that had the spoon.
Right. Kind of the most important one for that fight, though.
Right.
So what did you think about the seed overall? This was a hook seed, and you had to fight Baigan and Rubicant at the spots in the upper battle.
I don't know what I think about the seed. Edward Percent is not my favorite flag set, but you luckily had moon veils for the hook bosses, which basically saved the run. Otherwise, things would have made me very, very sad. I never checked ordeals. I figured if I had, I don't know what was on ordeals. It wasn't Magma Key, but if it was Pinktail, I'm going to be really sad.
It was Pigtail.
Oh. Well then, I feel really good about finishing at the time I did because everyone else who did ordeals had a lot better time than I did.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was a trade-off. You saved that time. The trade-off was the third fight in Mount Ordeals was Galvez, so it wasn't a quick fight up there to get there. So
Clopper is just finished.
So the biggest thing about Adamant is if I had an Adamant, I would have probably done my grind in Mooncore instead of where I did. But without the Adamant, it's just not safe trying to kill behemoths and red dragons without an Edward wearing Adamant.
that makes perfect sense.
That being said, not having Adamant definitely made my Z fight a lot slower because, I mean, in the other run, I haven't done a bunch of Edward percent runs, but I've done enough to know that if I've got a Spoodward with Adamant, I might see the second Big Bang, but you don't see the third. And then you're going to dodge Rock's Fall, and you're going to win without much trouble. And needless to say, the end of the fight for that did not go smoothly.
All right. Well, did you have any final thoughts today?
I wish I had an Adamant armor. I don't know if there's any others on the seat, but once.
Well, he only saw one the entire time, so.
And just the pigtail one was the one that we saw. So.
And Ei, Klopfer, and Zyrak have both finished.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us here at GG's today.
Thank you.
All right. I believe we're joined by Zyrak right now. Zyrak, GG's on your run.
Thanks.
So it looks like you decided to grind right outside the final save point on the King Ryu Jing Ryu. Was that always going to be your strategy, or were you thinking about some other?
I mean, I was gonna check. I checked for free moon boss fights at the two spots and actually had significant experience. That's why I killed Yang at Ogopogo. Yeah, I considered staying in the core and doing dragons since we had Artemis arrows, but considering they wallet me the one time I got one because of Heat Ray, I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna risk having this go sideways.
And we also have Klopfer in here, too. Klopfer, GG's on your run tonight. Or maybe we have Klopfer. Might have to get the...
No.
Oh, I think you're there. GG's today.
Great, thanks a lot. It's a lot of fun.
So it was interesting because we saw Zyrak and Error do their grind on the moon in the lunar subterranean, and you decided to do a D-Machine.
Yeah, I was really hoping to slingshot some low-level Edwards up really high levels, but I definitely didn't get as much experience as I was hoping there, so the slingshot didn't work as well as was planned.
So, yeah, we were kind of wondering, did you think about trying to find a 10th?
Sorry, what was that?
Did you think about trying to find a 10th key item before doing that grind?
I wasn't sure if I miscounted there or past doesn't count. I thought I had 10, so definitely a mistake on my end.
Past, I know, I make that mistake all the time because I feel like because you have that feeling like since it's shuffled in with the key items, it is a key item, and no.
Yeah, exactly. I counted, I'm like, that looks like 10. I'll just go. This should be fine. And then when the final XP came up, I realized something had gone wrong.
So both of you were in the Zeramus fight around the same time, Zyrak, Klopfer, and finished really close to each other. So G there. Did any of you had any thoughts about the run in general? We had Rubicant and Baigen as your hook seed bosses. Any thoughts there?
Too bad with those two, since you would have already had, well, at least I had Adamant. If you picked up the pink tail from Ordeals, nothing too scary from those guys.
Yeah, honestly, Moonveils being purchasable kind of makes a lot of the boss fights in the early game not scary at all. There's percent HP base damage is really the only thing that can hurt you, and Ogopogo is even off the table since he was on Ordeals.
Yeah.
So I wasn't particularly worried about going through the tower. I don't know what happened with my silk webs on Zeromus. Like when the first one pinged against the the untargetable first form. I was like, oh, I must have just done it a little bit too quick. And then when I went back the second time, I even hung out outside of a menu for a couple of seconds to make sure, and I still got the bad target. I don't know what happened. That cost me a handful of places. I'm not particularly happy about that, but
Yeah, that silk web. I'm not sure exactly. I'll get that timed right, and it seems like it should be when you feel like it should be timed right, and it still doesn't work. It's like, what do you want me to do, right?
yeah, right. Like I was pretty sure I saw the Zarumas' name change outside of a menu and gave it a tick or two at the first time. But I was like, but I definitely did that the second time. So yeah, I don't. Kind of frustrating.
I just don't know what the how you're supposed to gauge how and when to use the silk web. So I've just always used it as like my second item on the fight.
Yeah, I've fallen into that pattern as well.
Yeah, I always like to bring in 5. Just keep throwing them to one sticks.
Yeah, that can be a strategy in and of itself.
Right. If I had more than one, I would have done that. But
yeah, same boat.
Any final thoughts on the run today? This flag set in general.
Definitely check out the Edward percent flag if you haven't done so. There's a lot of different strategies you need to use, and you realize the value that hide actually has in a lot of fights.
Yeah, it's a neat little flag set. It's a nice addition to the series.
All right. Well, thank you both for joining us today, and thank you for letting us watch your run today. GG's again.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
GG, and have a good afternoon. And it looks like Woobear is going to be doing the D machine grind.
And while we were doing that interview, we did have Flurry finish in 9th place at 1 hour, 34 minutes, and 57 seconds, if I could talk.
And after him was Tarasu in 10th place with an official time of 1 hour, 40 minutes, and 17.
So GG's to those runners. Yeah, it looks like Woobear going for his grind now. And I believe Woobear did the D machine grind last night as well, so seeing him set up for this again is not too much of a surprise.
That solo D machine is not what he's looking for.
No, that not very exploitable there. But now in that Searcher Beamer fight, probably getting the fight that he wants since he's not running at this point. Now, Woobear does have that adamant armor so as we saw when Klopper was doing this fight, this should be a pretty safe fight. We'll see if he goes with that same strategy of keeping most of the Edwards dead and just letting the adamant armor do most of the work, or if he wants to incorporate a different strategy.
Well, he has his 2 slingshot Edwards knocked out. At least I'm assuming they're slingshot Edwards. One for the spoon and adamant, and one for the Artemismo and Artemis arrows.
Looks like he is going to try to keep the other 3 alive at this point.
Just to make this grind go a little faster. I mean, he should have like plenty of Artemis arrows.
Yeah, that's something that like we'd have to actually like figure out. I'm not sure if it actually is faster to have multiple Edwards for this, since every time an Edward attacks, there's going to be the counterattack, the physical counterattack from the D machine, and
But he had to reset out of that.
yeah. Because we saw Eli Klopfer doing a pretty efficient grind with just one Edward doing all the work. And you only had to take time to heal one Edward in between the D machine grinds. We only got, since it was the one adamant armor with the Artemis arrows, the most damage per attack was always being done. So it might be more efficient to do one, but we'd have to take a look at that one. It looks like he found that Searcher Beamer fight again.
Just taking out the beamers out first. And then we'll be on to the D machine grind again.
Yeah, so long as everything was done right in the setup and we see that D machine and not a horseman.
Right, while we're here, why don't you explain to me how the D machine grind works?
Okay. In general, this fight here starts off with the Searcher and Beamer, but the Searcher is the real important thing. Whenever you hit a Searcher, and it whenever you hit a Searcher and it doesn't kill it, it'll counter with a summon, and whatever fight you're in, that summon's going to be the same every single time. So in this case, what we're looking for is for that summon to be a D machine. So you hit the Searcher, it'll summon a D machine. Then in this case, you fight the D machine till it dies using the Artemis arrows because they do a lot of damage. And then if you're able to use a life potion as it dies and get you can exploit the life potion or the life glitch and get basically double experience for each D machine you kill. But even if you don't, the D machines are worth a pretty high amount of experience no matter what. And so you repeat this, you kill the D machine, hit the Searcher again, it'll summon another D machine. You can do it over and over and over again until you kill as many as you want, get as much experience as you need, and then when you're done, you can use an hourglass to stop the Searcher. Once it's stopped, it won't do its counter script to summon more D machines, finish off the Searcher and the fight, get a ton of experience, as we saw on Klopper's screen, over 450,000 experience for one. Now, traditionally, you want a character like a Tella or a Fusia who wants to cast Weak, because both the Searcher and the D machines are can be used on that. And so that's a way to make it a bit safer, even at lower levels. But here we have the Adamant Armor and the Moon Veils. It looks like a Woobear has decided, has said that they're not feeling too well right now, and so decided to forfeit from the race. So I think that's going to be about where we ended. Let me see if if he's not feeling well, I doubt he wants to come in, but I'll ask anyway. But in the meantime, I want to make sure that we give a shout out to all of our runners today. It was really fun to see Klopfer and Error and Woo Bear do their thing. Make sure you give all of our runners a follow. It looks like Woo Bear does feel up to talking to us for a moment, so we'll go ahead and bring him in when he's ready. Make sure you give all of our hardworking people behind the scenes who make this possible. Demarin is our restreamer today, and Neon Gray doing a good job on the tracking. So make sure you give those fine folks a follow as well. So, just a moment while Woo Bear gets everything set up to do a bit of a interview, and I think we've got him. Woo Bear.
Hello.
Sorry you're not feeling so well, but looks like we saw what you were trying to do with the G machine grind there at the end.
Yeah. Apologize again for that, but I don't know. I was feeling off, and then nothing in the run was going right really for me, and I was just kept doing stupid shit. So I was like,
I mean, you don't have to apologize if you're not feeling well. If you're not feeling well.
Yeah, and we saw that you were having some problems on that Baigan fight. So, I mean, I definitely understand at this point.
well, I was silly, and I was probably the only one who didn't check Mount Ordeals to get a pink tail to get a free adamant, which...
No, you were not the only one.
No? Okay.
Yeah. Error also went through the entire game with going up there. You at least went there at the end.
Yeah, I figured I was close to 10 items, and a couple checks that were easy, right? I figured I'd blow right through. Yeah, when I saw that, my heart kind of sank, and I was like,
Yeah, that would have made that fight a lot easier.
a little bit.
Do you have any other thoughts on this race or this flag set in general?
Not so much. I don't know. I enjoy it. Edward % has been growing on me, so it's cool. Yeah, otherwise I'll be doing the race later. Hopefully I'll be doing a bit.
All right. Well, good luck with that, and thank you for joining us, and thank you for letting us watch you run today.
No worries. Thank you for having me.
All right. Take care. GG's.
Bye.
Okay, and so that's going to be about it for our stream today. Paranoia, thank you for joining me on this fun run.
Yes, thank you, Rex, and thank you, Rex, for having me. And actually, thank you for the team in general for having me on.
Yeah, and it looks like we're going to go ahead and send everybody on over to Yimo, who's doing some practicing of 2v2 with SG4E. So I want to thank once again everybody for watching today, and I hope you have a wonderful afternoon.
Goodbye, everyone.